under construction again. And there's a reason for that. Let me zoom in for you guys. I'm in one of my favorite parks in the city, Lafayette Park. It's a beautiful park. And I just think we have the best parks. I don't care what anybody says. St. Louis has the best parks. We have the best botanical garden. We have the best zoo 'cause it's free. We have the best museums. It's just beautiful all over. So as I'm walking, yes, I'm getting my on because I'm gonna be a little candid here because the whole purpose of me doing this leadership series is because I realized that in order for me to create the organization that I want to create and the type of programming that I want to create, that I had to raise my leadership lid. And I actually, right now we're using the John Maxwell books. And I actually stumbled across the books after, ironically enough, it's crazy how things happen. I think things happen for a reason. I went to a class and the teacher was Maxwell certified. Didn't think about it at the time because I had never heard of it. Well, that's why I always say these phones are spying on us because sure enough, John Maxwell's videos started popping up in my feed. And so I purchased the 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. But this comes later because I was like, we need a leadership book club, you know, because I felt like I wasn't getting what I needed from the class. So I was like, well, maybe if we could do a book club and everybody can have the ability to talk to each other. And, basically, as it turns out, John Maxwell refers to that as a mastermind group. And so, anyway, the more I'm diving into these books, the more I'm realizing that, to his point, leadership is a journey. It's a life journey because once you realize that you, just the average person, are a leader, it really changes and reshapes your whole perspective on what you do in your life. Not when it comes to faith, friends, family, who you allow around you, in your space, in your place. What the Bible says about bad association spoiling useful habits, it's true. And so I had to check myself. And so in the law of the lid, he talks about how other companies, when they take over other corporations or whatnot, they always fire everybody. And I will even say here locally, we saw a big um, heat up about somebody removing people who have been in positions for years. I just come from the school of when I grew up, somebody getting fired was an awful thing, and you didn't want to see people lose their jobs. Now we're in a time where people are actually actively going after people and wanting to see people fired. So it's a whole different type of generation. So my point is, I think I finally have gotten clarity on that. And I have to say, it makes sense. And as much as I hate to see people lose their jobs, I do think that when you want to rebuild an organization, just like in my case where I want to rebuild my health, I have to take out the bad things, the toxic things, the things. If you have gangrene, they cut the infection out. If you have cancer, they cut it out. They try to remove it. They give it radiation. So it makes sense that if you look at an organization as a body, why would you leave in the head if the head is infected or the arm or leg, whatever it is? Well, listen, you can't just go around chopping your head off now. But anyway, you get the point. You have to remove the cancer in order for the organization to grow. And so it just makes sense that if so now I really got the concept of if you were to want to go take in over a whole new organization, sometimes a family group, you have to remove the Achan from your camp. Just like in the Bible, when he told Abraham to get Achan's behind up out of there, you have to remove the Achan from your organization. If you are in a leadership position, it is hard to fire people. It hurts your feelings. And especially if you're a really sensitive person, that's what makes it really hard for me. Because you're thinking, well, they have families, they have this, but if they are toxic and they are creating the problem, you're not helping the organization and you're not helping the employees. What happens is when you leave Aiken in the camp, eventually he infects everybody else, and what is healthy dies. And in the organization terms, that means they leave. That's why the turnover rate is so high in unhealthy organizations, because people who are healthy minded, they're going to leave, meaning the cells are going to die. So the healthy cells are going to be killed by the toxic cells. So you have to cut it out. And I get that. I really get that. And being able to watch that and see it in action will really change your perspective. I think we can literally see it across the board. We watch companies fail. We watch governments. We watch different organizations. We watch people's political and social careers. People on, like we're on YouTube right now. We've watched social media content creators rise and fall based on their own leadership abilities and in their ability to lead themselves. If you cannot govern and control yourself and control your spirit, guess what's going to happen? Eventually you're going to infect everything that you touch, and that includes your own platform. And so that happens with these jobs. You have to remove the infection. You have to remove, and some of these people, they're like, wait a minute, this person is a staple, they've been here, they've put in time. Yeah, but either they're going to do one or two things. They're going to shape up or they got to ship out. And so I think when you start building, or if you want to start recreating, or if there's something in your family that needs to be changed, you are going to have to look at what is causing the infection and cut it out. Because you can't sit up here and say, hey, oh my God, I don't understand why we're all unhealthy. And everything in your refrigerator is all processed, it's all bad. You don't understand why your kids don't listen to you. Because I promise you, if you see people who have unhealthy houses, more than likely they themselves engage in unhealthy behavior. I see every time that I meet somebody who is out of control and they don't know how to behave, I can just imagine what their children are like, because it's what they say, fish rots from the head. And it's the same way with these organizations. If you see an organization and you feel and you hear all these rumors about it and you hear that it's toxic and this place is problematic, I guarantee you, if you look at the head, you'll see why the body is failing. And so that's just what it is. If you go and if you are following us and you're reading the books with us, if you go back, we're on law number 4 now. But the first law is the law of the lid, and it states that you cannot rise above your own level of leadership. So if you are here and your lid is low, you are going to have to go out and actively get help. Leadership is something that you have to build upon every day, just like your faith. You got to read, you got to grow. That's what I'm doing. I'm trying to grow in my faith and in my leadership, so I'm doing the work. Shalom, thank you for the support. You got to do the work. The Bible says, study to show thyself approved. In order to do that, you got to do what? You got to study. You got to read. You got to, and so this is a great time of the year to do all that. Here we are about to go into end gathering. So I would just admonish everybody to think about your law of the lid and how high that level rises. Because what happens to your family, what happens to your organization, it's going to rise and fall on your level of leadership, on your lid. What are you doing to grow today? Thanks for watching. Shalom.